Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be making pinto beans and cornbread. This is an economical meal and a great way to stretch $1. You can make this recipe either on your stovetop in a pot or in your slow cooker. It's just according to which one you have time and patience for, but I will include both of those instructions for either method in the description box below. So what you're going to do is take your pound or 2 pounds or 3 pounds, how many ever beans you need to feed your crew. You'll take those, sort through them real good, make sure there's no rocks or any bad beans in it, and then you're going to cover them in your pot or a bowl with water by about 3 or 4 inches over the tops of the beans, because as you see here, after they've soaked overnight for about 8 to 12 hours, they're going to double in size and expand with the water. So you're going to make sure there's enough water, too much water, for when you soak them. Then what you're going to do is drain off the water from where they've soaked overnight, rinse your beans off, and then add about 5 cups of water to your 1 pound of pinto beans. The rule of thumb here is this: you don't want to add too much water to your beans as they cook, but I try to at least cover my beans by about 1 inch, 1.5 inches of water before I start cooking them. So what I did was I added a ham bone from when we had made a ham back earlier this year and froze it. I thawed the ham bone out in the refrigerator, and then I put it into my stock pot with my beans. I bring it to a rolling boil, and then I reduce the heat to about medium-low to a simmer and cover it and let these beans cook throughout the day. This here shows the finished product about 3 hours later of my beans. And it shows an up-close picture here of how you want your beans to look. You don't want them to be completely mush like refried beans. You want them to hold some texture and shape, but you definitely don't want them crunchy either. So 3 hours on a low simmer is about how long it took for my beans to make. Now I'm going to show you how to make cornbread. And so what I do is I start out with a good cast iron skillet. This skillet, when I got it, and I stripped it of the old seasoning on it, I have only ever made cornbread in this skillet, and it is the perfect skillet for cornbread making. But what I do is when my oven is preheating to 450 degrees Fahrenheit, I'll put about a tablespoon or 2 of butter into the skillet as it preheats. While that's preheating, I then take 2 cups of cornmeal mix. Now you're going to make sure it's cornmeal mix. If it's just cornmeal with no flour added, then you're going to have flat cornbread. But make sure that when you get your cornmeal, it's cornmeal mix. I like to use Yelton's Best. It's milled not too far down the road from where we live at, and it's a very good white cornmeal that makes great cornbread. And my secret ingredient here is Duke's mayonnaise. You could use whatever mayonnaise is local to you. Where I live, Duke's is preferred. But what I do is I take about 2 to 3, and for this time I use 3, so I will go with 3, heaping tablespoons of mayonnaise. And then what I do is I'll add 1 cup of buttermilk, and I'll stir it into the cornmeal mix here. I'm seeing and you're seeing that this cornmeal mix, this batter, is a little too dry, and so I'm going to add about 1/2 cup more of buttermilk until it's just the right consistency. Again, with cornbread, one thing that I've learned is the drier your batter is, the drier your cornbread is. But the wetter the batter, the more moist it'll be. So err on the side of caution. It's okay if there's a little bit too much milk. But again, for this recipe, I used 1.5 cups of buttermilk. And what I love to do is keep in our pantry a container of this dried buttermilk. I get it at my Walmart, and all you have to do is scoop it out, add your water, and it's ready to use in any recipe that you would use buttermilk in. So once you get your buttermilk incorporated with your cornmeal mix and mayonnaise, and again, it's okay if it's a little bit soupy. It really will make some of the best cornbread that you've ever made. What you're going to do is you're going to pull out of the oven your preheated skillet that has the fat in it. Now you see my butter's browned a little bit. That won't hurt a thing. If you don't want to use butter, you could use lard or cooking oil like canola or vegetable. But what you're going to do is you're going to pour your batter into that skillet And where that fat has heated up in the oven, when you pour your cornbread into the skillet, that batter is going to fry. You'll hear it sizzling, and that's going to make one of the best crust on your cornbread cake that you'll ever eat. So throw it in your oven and bake it for about 20 to 25 minutes until it's done. Then you're going to pull it out, and I like to flip it over on the plate, and it is ready to serve. And so here's the finished product: Pinto Beans, homemade cornbread, and we love to serve it with homemade cucumber relish that we make in the summertime. Thanks for watching, and as always, come back and see us.